12th Sunday in Ordinary Time Year, A. This reflection is prepared by Father Iob Francis. Do not be afraid. God stands with those who trust Him. Fear is one of the greatest struggles of the human heart. We fear rejection, criticism, failure, sickness, uncertainty, and even standing up for what is right. Yet today's readings remind us that God never abandons those who place their trust in Him. In a world filled with anxiety and insecurity, Jesus speaks directly to us. Do not be afraid. Psalm 69, 8-10, 17, 33-35. The psalm expresses the cry of a person who suffers because of faithfulness to God. Even when rejected and misunderstood, the psalmist turns to the Lord with confidence, knowing that God hears the poor and the afflicted. This prayer teaches us that God is always close to those who seek Him in times of distress. Jeremiah 20, 10-13. The prophet Jeremiah experienced loneliness, opposition, and persecution because he faithfully proclaimed God's message. His enemies plotted against him and waited for him to fail. Yet despite his fear and suffering, Jeremiah remained confident that God was with him like a mighty champion. He trusted that the Lord would defend the innocent and bring justice to the oppressed. His example encourages us to remain faithful even when following God brings challenges and criticism. Romans 5, 12-15. St. Paul contrasts the effects of Adam's sin with the saving grace of Jesus Christ. Through Adam, sin and death entered the world and affected all humanity. Through Christ, however, God offered a gift far greater than the damage caused by sin. Jesus' obedience, sacrifice, and love opened the way to forgiveness and eternal life. This passage reminds us that God's grace is always stronger than human weakness and failure. Matthew 10, 26-33. In the Gospel, Jesus repeatedly tells His disciples, "Do not be afraid." He knows that following Him will bring difficulties, opposition, and even persecution. Jesus assures His followers that nothing remains hidden before God, and that truth will ultimately prevail. He reminds them that even the sparrows are cared for by the Father, and that every hair on their heads is counted. This beautiful image reveals God's intimate love and concern for each person. The Lord is not asking us to live without challenges, but to face them with faith and courage. Jesus calls us to witness openly to our faith, and not to hide our Christian identity because of fear. Those who courageously acknowledge Christ before others will be acknowledged by Him before the Father in heaven. Practical lessons. First, we must not allow fear to control our decisions. Instead, we should trust God's providence in every circumstance. Second, like Jeremiah, we should remain faithful to truth and justice, even when it is unpopular or costly. Third, we should boldly witness to our Catholic faith through our words, actions, and daily choices, knowing that Christ walks with us. A challenging question for meditation. When fear, criticism, or opposition comes into my life, do I remain faithful to Jesus Christ, or do I compromise my faith to gain acceptance and avoid difficulties?